Welcome to the Samuel Coin Shop. Imagine holding a simple coin that could instantly flip your entire life upside down. These ordinary-looking Washington quarters hide extraordinary secrets, born from silent mistakes, rare moments, and forgotten history. One tiny detail, invisible to most eyes, can turn pocket change into unimaginable wealth. Before you spend, trade, or ignore these coins, pause, because one discovery could mean millions, power, and a destiny changed overnight beyond anything you ever imagined possible. First up, the Washington quarter from 1992 looks ordinary at first glance, the kind of coin people toss into pockets without a second thought, yet history has a strange habit of hiding extraordinary power inside ordinary objects. Coins like this were born in massive numbers, passed through countless hands, and quietly witnessed the rhythm of American life, but within that ocean of common pieces, a tiny number were created differently, sometimes by accident, sometimes by fate. These rare survivors are the reason collectors stay awake at night, because one unexpected detail can transform a simple quarter into something that feels almost mythical, something capable of rewriting a person's financial destiny in a single moment. To understand why the 1992 Washington quarter has captured so much attention, you have to understand how coins are made and how imperfections sneak into perfection-driven systems. The U.S. Mint works with strict standards, but no system created by humans is flawless. Dies wear down, metals react differently under pressure, and alignment can drift in fractions of millimeters. When that happens, a coin may be struck slightly off-center with doubled details, unusual thickness, missing layers, or strange textures that were never meant to exist. These errors are not mistakes to collectors. They are fingerprints of history, proof that this exact coin should never have existed. What makes the idea of $1 million 1992 quarter so fascinating is not that every coin is valuable, but that a microscopic percentage may carry traits so rare that demand explodes beyond logic. In the collecting world, value is born from three forces colliding at once: rarity, condition, and story. A flawless error coin in near-perfect condition becomes a one-of-a-kind artifact. Add a compelling backstory, such as a unique minting anomaly never repeated, and suddenly the coin is no longer measured by face value, but by desire, competition, and prestige among elite collectors. Condition plays a role that cannot be overstated. Two coins can look identical to the untrained eye, yet one might be worth pocket change while the other commands staggering prices. A 1992 Washington quarter preserved with sharp edges, untouched surfaces, original luster, and no circulation damage enters a completely different universe than a worn example. Collectors chase coins that look frozen in time, as if they were struck yesterday and immediately hidden away. When rarity meets preservation, value stops following rules and starts following emotion. The mythos surrounding high-value quarters is fueled by true stories from the past, where seemingly small coins sold for prices that shocked the public. These stories spread hope, curiosity, and obsession. People begin checking jars, drawers, and old collections not because every coin is rare, but because just one could be. The 1992 quarter sits in this space of possibility, where collectors believe that certain undiscovered variations may still be hiding in plain sight, overlooked for decades, simply because no one knew what to look for. History gives the Washington quarter its emotional weight. Designed to honor leadership, resilience, and national identity, it carries symbolism far beyond metal. Every strike represents a moment in America's ongoing story, and coins from different years reflect subtle changes in minting technology, materials, and production pressure. The early 1990s were a transitional period in many industrial processes, and transitional eras are exactly where unexpected anomalies tend to appear. That's why collectors scrutinize these years with intense focus. The idea of unimaginable wealth tied to a single coin is powerful because it challenges our understanding of value itself. Money usually comes through time, effort, and accumulation, yet rare coins flip that logic upside down. A person could unknowingly possess a historical artifact capable of attracting bids from investors, museums, and private collectors across the world. At that point, the coin is no longer about spending. It becomes about preservation, authentication, and strategic patience. One of the biggest mistakes people make is rushing to sell a coin without understanding what they have. A rare 1992 quarter, if sold casually, could disappear into a collection forever at a fraction of its potential worth. True value is unlocked only when experts analyze strike quality, metal composition, weight balance, die characteristics, and surface patterns. These elements together determine whether a coin is merely interesting or truly extraordinary. Collectors who pay record-breaking prices are not just buying metal, they are buying exclusivity. Owning something no one else can own creates a psychological pull stronger than logic. If a unique 1992 Washington quarter surfaced with a previously undocumented error and pristine condition, it would ignite competition. Auctions thrive on rivalry, and rivalry is what pushes prices from thousands into millions. At that level, value becomes symbolic rather than practical. The dream of becoming wealthy overnight is not really about money. It's about discovery. It's the idea that history left a door slightly open and that someone, somewhere, might be standing on the other side without realizing it yet. Coins represent this dream perfectly because they are small, familiar, and underestimated. A quarter does not look powerful, and that is exactly why its potential feels so shocking. This is why collectors warn against spending old or unusual coins casually. Once a rare coin enters circulation again, its story can be damaged forever. Scratches, dents, and wear erase clues that experts rely on to authenticate rarity. Time is unforgiving, and preservation is everything. A coin protected today may become legendary tomorrow, while a careless moment can erase history permanently. The 1992 Washington quarter remains a subject of intense curiosity because it lives between certainty and mystery. It is common enough to exist everywhere, yet rare enough in specific forms to inspire endless searching. That tension keeps collectors engaged year after year. Every new discovery reshapes what we think is possible, and every unknown keeps the dream alive. What truly gives a coin the power to change someone's fortune is not just its rarity, but the moment it is recognized for what it is. Recognition turns an object into an asset into a prize, and a prize into legacy. For some, that legacy is financial freedom. For others, it is the honor of owning a piece of history that no one else can claim. So, if you ever hold a 1992 Washington quarter and feel the urge to dismiss it as ordinary, remember that history doesn't announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers through the smallest objects, waiting for the right person to listen. In the world of rare coins, patience, knowledge, and respect for details separate missed opportunities from life-changing discoveries, and that single quarter in your hand might be far more powerful than it appears. Second up, the 1987 Washington quarter appears so ordinary that most people would never imagine it carrying any hidden power, yet history has always favored the quiet objects that move unnoticed through everyday life. Coins like this were struck during a time when millions were produced daily, flowing into circulation without ceremony, becoming part of wallets, cash registers, and forgotten jars. But within that flood of sameness, history sometimes leaves behind anomalies, silent survivors that break every expectation. These rare pieces don't announce themselves with shine or size. They wait patiently, carrying the potential to shock the world when finally understood. To grasp why the 1987 quarter is whispered about with such fascination, you must understand how value is born in the world of rare coins. Value does not come from age alone, nor from metal content, but from the moment when something unexpected happens during creation. Coin minting is meant to be precise, repetitive, and controlled, yet small deviations can occur when pressure, alignment, or material behaves differently for a fraction of a second. That single moment can produce a coin that technically should not exist, and collectors live for these moments frozen in metal. The late 1980s were a period of intense production and efficiency, and during such times perfection is expected. But perfection is also when mistakes hide best. A tiny variation in strike strength, a subtle doubling of design elements, or an unusual surface texture may go unnoticed for years. When discovered decades later in exceptional condition, such a coin instantly separates itself from the ordinary. It stops being pocket change and becomes evidence of a historical accident, something that cannot be recreated no matter how advanced technology becomes. Condition transforms rarity into wealth. A 1987 Washington quarter that never experienced circulation damage exists in a completely different reality than one worn by years of use. Sharp details, untouched surfaces, and preserved luster act like a time capsule, telling collectors that this coin escaped the chaos of daily transactions. When an already rare variation appears in this level of preservation, its value no longer follows common sense. It follows competition, obsession, and desire. The idea of a coin being worth millions is not fantasy, it is the result of human psychology colliding with scarcity. When collectors realize that only one or two examples of a specific anomaly exist, the race begins. Wealthy buyers are not purchasing metal, they are purchasing exclusivity, ownership of something that no one else can ever have. In that environment, price becomes secondary to victory, and numbers climb into territories that feel unreal to the average person. Stories of overnight fortune are born this way. Someone unknowingly holds a coin for years, dismissing it as ordinary, until the right expert recognizes its significance. That moment changes everything. The coin transforms from spare change into a financial weapon, capable of opening doors that once seemed permanently closed. The 1987 Washington quarter sits in this space of possibility, where common appearance hides uncommon potential. What makes this coin especially powerful is its ability to exist unnoticed. Unlike gold bars or gemstones, coins blend into everyday life. They are trusted, familiar, and ignored. This invisibility allows rare examples to survive untouched, passed down through families or stored away without suspicion. Decades later, when awareness increases, these hidden pieces suddenly emerge like buried treasure, discovered in plain sight. History gives the Washington quarter emotional weight beyond its physical form. It represents leadership, endurance, and national identity, struck into metal meant to last longer than the people who use it. Each year of production reflects subtle changes in machinery, pressure, and process, and these changes are where uniqueness is born. The 1987 issue exists within a specific moment in time, carrying the fingerprint of that era forever. One of the greatest dangers for anyone who suspects they own a rare coin is impatience. Selling too quickly, cleaning the surface, or mishandling the coin can destroy value instantly. Rare coins demand respect, silence, and protection. Their true worth is revealed only through careful study and expert examination, where every line, edge, and texture is analyzed like evidence in a historical investigation. Collectors who pay extreme prices do so because they understand something others overlook. History cannot be duplicated. Once a unique coin is identified and documented, it becomes immortal. Museums want it, investors want it, and private collectors want it even more. Ownership becomes legacy, and legacy is priceless. A single coin can outlive generations, carrying both wealth and story forward. The fascination with the 1987 Washington quarter continues because uncertainty fuels hope. No one can say with absolute confidence that all rare examples have already been found. That possibility keeps people searching, checking, and dreaming. Every time someone looks closely at a coin instead of spending it, history has another chance to reveal itself. Money usually demands time, effort, and sacrifice, but rare coins disrupt that narrative. They suggest that fate sometimes leaves shortcuts behind, hidden in ordinary places. This idea is powerful, almost dangerous, because it challenges everything we believe about earning and wealth. A quarter should not change a life, but history proves that sometimes it does. If a truly exceptional 1987 Washington quarter were to surface today, in untouched condition, with a unique, undeniable anomaly, it would not be measured in cents or even thousands. It would be measured in impact, the impact of discovery, of recognition, of suddenly holding something the world did not know it was missing. So before dismissing any old coin as insignificant, remember that history often chooses the smallest objects to carry its biggest surprises. The power of the 1987 Washington Quarter lies not in certainty, but in possibility. And in the world of rare coins, possibility is often the first step toward unimaginable fortune. Third up, the 1970 Washington Quarter entered the world quietly, without headlines or celebration, slipping into circulation during a time when people trusted coins without questioning their deeper stories. Millions were struck, exchanged, spent, and forgotten. Yet history has a habit of hiding its greatest secrets inside the most familiar objects. This quarter, small and unassuming, carries the weight of an era when change, economic, industrial, and cultural, was reshaping America, and in moments of transition, anomalies are born. What appears ordinary today may be the very object tomorrow's collectors call legendary. To understand why the 1970 quarter inspires such intense curiosity, you must understand how rarity truly forms. Rarity is not planned, it is accidental. Coin production follows strict patterns, but pressure, metal flow, timing, and human oversight never align perfectly forever. When something shifts for just a moment, a coin can emerge different from all others. These differences may be invisible to casual eyes, but to collectors, they are seismic. A slight irregularity can separate one coin from millions and place it into a category of its own. The year 1970 exists at a crossroads in minting history, a period when efficiency was prioritized and volume mattered more than scrutiny. In such environments, unusual strikes, subtle distortions, and unexpected characteristics can slip through unnoticed. When these coins survive untouched, never worn by circulation, they become frozen evidence of a system briefly stepping outside its own rules. That is where extraordinary value begins, not in metal, but in circumstance. Condition is the amplifier that turns rarity into unimaginable wealth. A circulated coin tells a story of use, but an untouched coin tells a story of escape. Sharp edges, pristine surfaces, and preserved brilliance suggest that the coin avoided the chaos of everyday commerce. When a rare 1970 quarter appears in this state, collectors do not see change, they see a time capsule. The fewer marks a coin carries, the louder its silence speaks. The idea of a coin being worth millions is not born from fantasy, it is born from competition. When collectors realize that a specific coin variation may exist only once or twice, desire replaces logic. Wealthy buyers are not calculating utility, they are chasing exclusivity. Owning what no one else can own creates a sense of dominance in collecting circles, and that hunger pushes prices into territory that feels impossible to ordinary people. Stories of overnight fortune grow from moments like these. Someone unknowingly holds a coin for years, dismissing it as ordinary, until knowledge catches up with chance. Recognition is the spark. Once a coin is recognized for what it truly is, it stops being money and starts being leverage. The 1970 Washington Quarter lives inside this possibility, where one moment of awareness can redraw an entire life's trajectory. What makes this quarter especially dangerous to underestimate is how easily it blends into daily life. Unlike gold or rare artifacts, it does not announce its importance. It hides among other coins passed down in collections, drawers, or forgotten boxes. This invisibility allows rare examples to survive unchallenged, untouched by suspicion. Time becomes their ally, not their enemy. The Washington Quarter itself carries deep symbolic power. It represents leadership, endurance, and continuity struck into metal meant to outlast generations. Each year of its production reflects the mindset and mechanics of its time. The 1970 issue carries the fingerprint of a changing America, and within that fingerprint, uniqueness can hide. Collectors do not just collect coins, they collect moments. One of the most tragic mistakes people make is treating a potentially rare coin casually. Cleaning it, spending it, or selling it too quickly can erase value forever. Rare coins demand patience and restraint. Their worth grows not through action, but through stillness. A single careless decision can destroy what decades of survival preserved. High-end collectors understand something simple, but profound. History cannot be recreated. Once a unique coin is identified and documented, it becomes irreplaceable. Institutions want it, private collectors want it more, and investors see it as a portable legacy. Ownership becomes a statement, not just a transaction. The fascination with the 1970 Washington quarter continues because uncertainty fuels hope. No authority can declare with certainty that all rare examples have been found. That unknown keeps people searching, examining, and believing. Every coin checked is a quiet act of rebellion against the idea that destiny is already decided. Rare coins challenge our understanding of wealth. They suggest that fortune does not always come from effort alone, but sometimes from awareness. A quarter should not hold power, but history proves that power often hides where no one is looking. This contradiction is what makes coin collecting addictive and transformative. If a truly exceptional 1970 Washington quarter surfaced today in flawless condition with undeniable uniqueness, it would not be priced emotionally. It would be priced competitively. And competition has no ceiling. In that world, millions are not shocking, they are expected. So before dismissing any old coin as meaningless, remember that history prefers subtlety. The 1970 Washington quarter does not promise fortune, it offers possibility. And in the world of rare coins, possibility is the first step toward a destiny that changes overnight. Fourth up, the 1980 Washington quarter entered circulation quietly, like countless other coins that passed from hand to hand without ceremony. Yet history has a strange way of assigning extraordinary meaning to objects that once seemed invisible. In 1980, America was standing at the edge of change economically and socially, and coins from such periods often carry hidden stories within their metal. Most people saw only a quarter, but history sometimes hides its most powerful surprises inside the smallest, most underestimated forms. Coins are not just currency, they are frozen moments. The 1980 quarter was struck during a time of intense production when speed and volume mattered more than reflection. In such conditions, perfection is expected, but perfection is fragile. When pressure shifts, when metal flows slightly differently, or when alignment drifts by a fraction, something unexpected can be born. That unexpected result becomes a silent anomaly, indistinguishable to the untrained, yet priceless to those who know what rarity truly means. Rarity does not announce itself loudly. It whispers. A rare 1980 Washington quarter would not sparkle differently or feel heavier in the hand. Its power would lie in subtle differences, in characteristics that were never meant to exist. These coins are not created by design, but by coincidence, and coincidence is the most powerful force in the world of collectibles. What happens by accident can never be repeated intentionally. Condition is the gateway between curiosity and unimaginable wealth. A coin that survives untouched, free from scratches, wear, and circulation damage, becomes a survivor. It tells a story not of use, but of escape. A pristine 1980 quarter suggests that it was protected, forgotten, or hidden away while time moved forward without it. When rarity and preservation meet, value stops following logic and begins following obsession. The idea that a single quarter could be worth millions feels impossible until you understand how collectors think. At the highest level, collectors are not buying coins. They are buying control over history. Owning something that exists nowhere else creates a sense of power that money alone cannot buy. When two or more collectors want the same irreplaceable object, price becomes irrelevant. Desire replaces reason, and numbers rise beyond imagination. This is how overnight fortune stories are born. Someone unknowingly holds an object of extreme rarity, unaware of its true identity, until knowledge catches up with chance. Recognition changes everything. In that instant, the coin stops being spare change and becomes a life-altering asset. The 1980 Washington quarter exists in this space of possibility, where discovery is more important than certainty What makes this coin especially dangerous to ignore is its familiarity. Quarters do not feel valuable. They live in pockets, jars, drawers, and old collections overlooked because they feel common. This camouflage allows rare examples to survive for decades without interference. History hides best when it looks ordinary, and the 1980 quartermaster that disguised perfectly. The Washington quarter itself carries symbolic weight far beyond metal. It represents endurance, leadership, and continuity, struck into a form meant to outlast generations. Each year of production reflects a different moment in time, shaped by the machines, people, and priorities of that era. The 1980 issue carries the fingerprint of its moment, and within that fingerprint, uniqueness can hide unnoticed. Many fortunes are lost not because rarity does not exist, but because patience does not. Cleaning a coin, spending it casually, or selling too quickly can destroy value forever. Rare coins demand restraint. Their power grows in silence, not in haste. The greatest mistake is acting before understanding, because once history is damaged, it cannot be repaired. Collectors who pay extreme prices do so because they understand permanence. Money can be earned again, but history cannot be recreated. Once a unique 1980 quarter is identified and documented, it becomes immortal. Museums desire it, investors compete for it, and private collectors dream of owning it. Ownership becomes legacy, and legacy has no fixed price. The fascination surrounding the 1980 Washington quarter continues because uncertainty fuels hope. No one can say with absolute confidence that all rare examples have been found. That unanswered question keeps people searching, examining, and believing. Every coin checked is a quiet act of optimism, a belief that history might still be waiting. Rare coins challenge our understanding of wealth itself. They suggest that fortune does not always arrive through effort alone, but sometimes through awareness and timing. A quarter should not hold such power, yet history repeatedly proves that the smallest objects often carry the greatest potential. If a truly exceptional 1980 Washington quarter surfaced today in flawless condition with undeniable uniqueness, its value would not be measured emotionally, it would be measured competitively, and competition has no ceiling. In that world, millions are not shocking, they are expected. So before dismissing any old coin as insignificant, remember that history prefers subtle entrances. The 1980 Washington quarter does not promise wealth, it offers possibility. And in the world of rare coins, possibility is often the first step toward a fortune that changes overnight. Fifth up, the 1990 Washington quarter entered circulation quietly, without any sign that it would one day be spoken about in tones of mystery and obsession. At the time, it was just another coin in a rapidly moving economy, passed from one hand to another without a second glance. Yet history has never favored loud entrances. It prefers silence, patience, and time. Coins like this become powerful not because they were meant to, but because decades later, people finally realize what they were holding all along. Every coin begins as a plan, but not every coin ends as planned. The minting process is designed to produce sameness, repetition, and precision, yet perfection is fragile under pressure. When machines run endlessly, when metal reacts unpredictably, or when alignment shifts by the smallest fraction, a coin can be born different. That difference may be invisible at first, but rarity is often invisible until knowledge catches up with chance. This is where the story of a potentially extraordinary 1990 quarter truly begins. The early 1990s were a period of massive production when efficiency mattered more than reflection. In such environments, subtle anomalies can slip through unnoticed, sealed inside ordinary appearances. A tiny variation in strike, texture, or design presence can transform a common coin into something singular. These moments are unrepeatable, and unrepeatable moments are the foundation of extreme value. What happens once by accident can never be recreated by intention. Condition is the silent judge that decides whether rarity becomes legend or remains curiosity. A 1990 Washington quarter that survived untouched, free from circulation scars, exists in a different universe from one worn by daily use. Sharp details, clean surfaces, and preserved characters suggest that the coin escaped time itself. When preservation meets uniqueness, value stops behaving logically and starts responding to emotion, rivalry, and desire. The idea of a quarter being worth millions feels impossible until you understand how collectors think at the highest level. They are not buying currency, they are buying dominance over history. Owning something that no one else can own creates a powerful psychological pull. When two collectors desire the same irreplaceable object, money becomes secondary. Pride, legacy, and exclusivity take control, and prices rise beyond ordinary imagination. This is how overnight fortune stories are born. Someone unknowingly keeps a coin for years, unaware that it carries more than metal. Then comes the moment of recognition, when the right eyes finally see what was always there. In that instant, the coin stops being money and becomes leverage. The 1990 Washington quarter lives in this space of possibility, where discovery can rewrite a person's entire future. What makes this coin especially dangerous to ignore is how familiar it feels. Quarters do not look valuable. They blend into life so well that even rare examples can remain hidden for decades. This invisibility protects them, allowing time to pass without damage or suspicion. History hides best when it looks ordinary, and the 1990 quarter wears that disguise perfectly. The Washington quarter itself carries symbolic weight beyond its size. It represents endurance, leadership, and continuity, pressed into metal design to outlive generations. Each year of production reflects the mindset and mechanics of its era. The 1990 issue carries the fingerprint of a changing world, and within that fingerprint, uniqueness can exist without announcing itself. Many people destroy value without realizing it. Cleaning a coin, spending it casually, or rushing to sell can erase decades of potential in seconds. Rare coins demand restraint. Their power grows through patience, not action. The greatest mistake is acting before understanding, because once history is altered, it cannot be restored. Collectors who pay extreme prices understand a simple truth: history cannot be duplicated. Money can be earned again, but a unique artifact cannot be recreated. Once a rare 1990 quarter is identified and documented, it becomes immortal. Museums want it, investors compete for it, and private collectors dream of owning it. Ownership becomes legacy, and legacy has no ceiling. The fascination with the 1990 Washington quarter continues because uncertainty fuels hope. No authority can declare with certainty that all rare examples have been found. That unanswered question keeps people searching, checking, and believing. Every coin examined is a quiet rebellion against the idea that destiny is already decided. Rare coins challenge everything we believe about wealth. They suggest that fortune does not always arrive through effort alone, but sometimes through awareness and timing. A quarter should not carry such power, yet history repeatedly proves that the smallest objects often hold the greatest potential. If a truly exceptional 1990 Washington quarter surfaced today, in flawless condition, with undeniable uniqueness, its value would not be emotional, it would be competitive, and competition has no limit. In that world, millions are not shocking, they are expected. So before dismissing any old coin as insignificant, remember that history prefers subtle entrances. The 1990 Washington quarter does not promise riches. It offers possibility. And in the world of rare coins, possibility is often the first step toward a fortune that changes overnight.